What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the video here on the Water Juice channel. Welcome to what I was talking about in the My Career episode, the first My Career episode that went live. This is now the college basketball My League. Just like I did back last year in NBA 2K20, we are going to be taking a team and going through, just like I would with any NBA team, we are going to be going through and playing as them. It's basically just a My League. Like if I use the Miami Heat, or if I use the Lakers, or the Bulls, or the Warriors, anything like that, it's just with college teams this time. You guys seem to love last year's one where I used the Ohio State Buckeyes, but this year, it's going to be different because we've got the Juice My Career going with where I'm on the Buckeyes. I'm not going to be using the Buckeyes in this one. So I am choosing my team already. I've already chosen it. I know it doesn't seem like I've chosen it already, but it's in here. I've got it. We are going to choose our team today, and then we're going to be going from there. So it'll be the same thing. So let me run you through what's going to exactly happen in this series. If you guys are not familiar with this kind of series, make sure you go back and watch the 2K20 Ohio State Buckeyes My GM mode, or My League mode, I guess, because that one is kind of the foundation for what this series is going to be. So basically what this is, we're going to be playing some games. We'll go through the season. When we get to the off season, there will be the NBA draft, which technically is the national recruiting. You got the quotes. National recruiting. So we'll go through the prospects, the high school recruits later in this episode. But once we get done with the recruiting day, National Signing Day, which is the NBA draft, then we go into free agency, which is the transfer portal. The transfer portal is NBA free agency, where guys that don't like their current situation at their school can go into the transfer portal, free agency, and choose a different school without any restrictions or anything. So they can choose what school they want to go to, and then we can go from there. So we've got National Signing Day, and we've got transfer portal in the off season, and then we will go from there. So that's basically how this series is going to work. And it's very simple. It's very easy to learn. It's not super complicated at all. But now for team reveal. The team that we are going to be using in this series, instead of the Ohio State Buckeyes, we are going to be using, I don't know. I said that I had it figured out. I don't have it figured out. Give me 1 second, and then I'll show you guys. Are you ready? Give me 1 second. Hold on. Cut to it. All right. I've chosen the team. Drum roll, please. We are going to be using the UCLA Bruins in this save. Basically. That's what we're going to be doing. Because UCLA back in the 70s, the 60s, they were the dominant team in college basketball. Not so much anymore. They kind of had a good run back in the mid to late 2000s with like the Kevin Love, Russell Westbrook days. That's been about it though. So now we are going to try and rebuild UCLA into the powerhouse they once were. And it's going to take some time because this team is not the greatest. This team's best player is an 84 overall, so it's going to take some time. We're probably not going to be a tournament team this year, and we might be able to tournament team. I don't know, depending on how other teams play. We might be a tournament team. It all depends. But UCLA is going to be the team. Let's get straight into meeting the team. Who do we have? We've got Chris Smith as our best player. He's the 84 overall that I mentioned. We've got Jalen Hill at an 82 overall center. We've got Jamie Jacquez as our small forward, 81 overall. He's a dynamic three-point shooter, so that's going to be useful for us. Tiger Campbell is our point guard at 81 overall. Cody Riley, 80 overall. Johnny Juzang at a 79. Jules Bernard, 78 overall. Jake Kyman, 74. David Singleton, 74. Jalen Clark, 70. And then the rest of these guys are just walk-ons. They don't matter that much, so they will never get any playing time or anything. So that is what the UCLA Bruins squad is looking like. Now, if I had to say, obviously you've noticed that all these contracts are one-year contracts. Now, I did ponder the idea of making the contracts 4-year contracts, and then having a 1 year where they can, or having their first year, after their first year, they can choose to go to free agency or something. If that's something that you guys want to see, let me know. I think that might be what I try to do if I can do it. Otherwise, we'll just keep it 1 year, and then everybody in free agency or in the recruit or in the transfer portal will be everybody in the roster, because every single roster has 1 year play or 1 year contracts. So like every single team has 1 year contracts on all their players. So every single team will have nobody unless they sign some people in the transfer portal this year. So it's going to be interesting. I may choose to do the way that I suggested earlier if I can figure out how to do it and stuff. So that's my plan for the offseason. But for this season, what I'm thinking about we need for this team, just by looking at it right now, we're going to need a better point guard. We're going to need a better shooting guard, definitely a better shooting guard, because our highest overall shooting guard is a 78. So we're definitely going to need a better shooting guard. We are going to need a better player at really every position. But for the first season, I think we might be able to sneak in as a late tournament team. But it all depends on how these guys play and who we have to go up against, because there's some pretty good players in the country. Let's go to all players real quick. Luka Garza could be an option in the transfer portal. Jared Butler, Ayo Dosunmu, Kofi Coburn, Cade Cunningham is a guy that I'm really strongly pushing for in the transfer portal. He may be there. I don't know. Corey Kispert, Keontae Johnson, James Balknight, Evan Mobley, Sam Hauser, Teague, Hurt, Moody. So many good guys. Jalen Suggs is here as well. Isaiah Livers. So there's some options here for us in the transfer portal, unless they get signed or unless I choose to do the contracts the way that I did. So to start off the season and to start the series, we've got a game against Louisville, and it is away. We don't have a home game until Louisville on December 11th. That's crazy. We don't have a home game until then. But it is only 31 games, I think, right? Is this only 30? This doesn't feel like 31 games. Hold on. So here is the prospect scouting. And I just realized that I don't have it on 31 games. I think I have it on 82 games. So I'm gonna fix that for the next episode. We won't play a game in this episode, just in case it's not the same team. It's not Louisville that we play in the next episode. But we will go through prospect scouting, and like I did in the My Career video, we went over the prospects. We took a look at them. I gave out my thoughts on who the Buckeyes should recruit for this next season. But now, since we are actually controlling the team, we are going to be going more in depth in the recruiting, deciding what kind of players we need for the position. Now, a guy like Trace Jackson Davis could be very useful for us because he's a very dynamic scorer. He's a 6'9" power forward, so we could put him in some small ball situations. He could be our 6'9" center for those small ball situations. And he could be a very, very dynamic scorer for us. What do they have him? They don't have any ceiling or floor because I just added him in. But he's an A overall prospect. He's only 20. But also a guy like David Duke, who is 6'5" shooting guard. He's got some nasty three-pointing. He's got an A three-pointer. He looks like he could be a very dynamic scorer as well. So we could use a shooting guard like that. Another guy is DJ Stewart Jr., who could be a very solid scorer for us at 6'6", shooting guard. A guy like Isaiah Brockington could be an option for us. Xavier Pinson at point guard could be an option. So there's a lot of guys. With a team like this, there's so many different options, and so many different paths we can take because we don't really have a set star. We don't really have an identity as a team this season. So it's just basically think of this team as basically like a thing of clay that we can mold into whatever we want next season, which is perfect because we've got guys like Amani Bates, Travion Williams in this draft, Victor Wembanyama. I don't think I'm ever going to say that name right, but he's 7'2", and he's very, very dynamic, very good scorer. He's good inside, good mid-range, good three-pointer for a 7'2" center. He's got good rebounding and athleticism. This guy's very, very good. We could go after him, but we could also go after a guy like Dante Hall, who's a bruiser, who's good inside scoring, but that's about it. There's also some guys like Jonathan Kuminga who we could get later in the draft maybe. So there's definitely some options for us. I'm thinking maybe we go for a small forward. Maybe we go for a shooting guard with our 2 picks. That's what I'm probably thinking because more than likely in the transfer portal we're going to be getting a point guard. We're going to be getting a center. So we can build out the roster for year number 2. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I think we've got some good options. So that's going to do it for this video. It's going to be a little bit of a short one. I guess I can go one more quick thing. We can go look at the starting lineups for this first season. We've got Campbell, we've got Jaquez, we've got Chris Smith, we've got Juzang, and we've got Cody Riley as our players. I'm thinking what we do is we move Jalen Hill to the starting center. I don't know why he wasn't starting center already. And then we keep the rest like it is. I think this is our best situation. Actually, you know what? We'll put Cody Riley in there. I don't know what they were thinking about putting Juzang in there. So now the new one is Campbell, Jaquez, Smith, Riley, and Hill. I think that's our best lineup that we could. Obviously, it's our best lineup because it's our best overalls. But I think that's our best situation where we can make the tournament. And then we've got Juzang going to be our 6th man, Bernard, Singleton, Kyman, Clark. And then I will move some minutes down from these 2 guys just to give some more minutes to Clark so we can run a 10-man. There we go. Keep it like that. Let's run a 10-man rotation, and that's how we will do it. So I think this team's got some potential to be a tournament team. Obviously, we are looking very solid for at least a low tournament seed. I don't exactly know fully what we could be, but I do want to mention one more thing. There's not going to be any CPU trading. That has been disabled, so the only way players can move is in the free agency, which is the transfer portal. I will not be doing any trading unless it gets to at least not in year number 1. I will not be doing any trading. Year number 2 and on, there could be some changes of the rules. I will still not have any CPU trading because then it's harder to keep track of where players are. So the only way that players will move other than the transfer portal is if I decide to trade somebody. But that'll probably be very rare. I probably, if at all, I probably won't even do it. So I wanted to throw that out there. Injuries are on, so that's a big key for depth reasons. Obviously, I've got to switch it to 31 games. I thought that I already had it switched to 31 games, but I was wrong. So I will reset everything to 31 games. It'll all be the same, except for it'll have 31 games instead of 82. That was my mistake. The tournament, or the NBA playoffs, is 1 game, so it represents the NCAA tournament. There's no conference tournaments because you can't have more than 1 tournament in or more than 1 playoff in an NBA season. So unless they threw in like a play-in tournament, that would be pretty cool. But as of right now, you can't do that. So it's just the NCAA tournament, and then we will go from there. So I think that's everything that I needed to talk about in this episode. As always, if you guys have any suggestions, you can throw them in the comments section below. If you are confused at anything in this episode, just make sure you go back and watch from last year's episodes, the last year's series of the Ohio State Buckeyes, because that's kind of like I said earlier, it's the foundation of this series. It's basically, I took that and I made it better, basically, in this. So if you have any questions or concerns about that and you're confused on anything, just go and watch some of those videos, maybe like the first video or the first couple videos, just to figure out what's going on with that, and then you'll probably be more caught up, or maybe you'll understand more than I do, probably. that's probably a very good possibility. Oops, I didn't mean to change that. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys are excited for both this series and the 2K My Career with Juice at Ohio State. I hope you guys are excited for both of those. Plus, we've got Cleveland Browns rebuild. We've got so much content coming to the channel. Make sure to smash that like button, notification bell, and the subscription button as well. Join the Juice Club. We are on the road to 300 subscribers, so help me get there by smashing that subscribe button. And I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. See ya!